You're listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Get the knowledge you need to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently from Jen Du Plessis, America's mortgage mastery mentor with over 37 years of experience and over $1 billion in lifetime fundings. Jen has been mentoring loan officers and realtors for over 15 years and speaking on stages across the globe. So settle in and get ready as Jen and her guests share their experience, passion, and strategies to help you crack the top producer code to reach new heights in your business. And now, here's your host, Jen Du Plessis, mortgage mastery mentor and head chick in charge of Kinetic Spark Consulting.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Mortgage Lending Mastery. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis. I am so delighted to have you with us today. I really appreciate always hearing from everyone who's listening at what you're doing while you're listening. I think that's so fun. I just heard from someone who said they were walking around in Chicago, downtown Chicago, and listening. And I just like hearing where everybody's at, while we're listening. We all listen to podcasts in a different place. So again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to us. And with me today is Michael Hammond. I'm so delighted to have you here today, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we just discovered we were Michiganders.
That's right.
And that's really the only time that my accent comes out, when I say Michigander. And, maybe once in a while it comes out. But Michael is a fractional CMO. He has 25 plus years as a mortgage executive. And one of the things that he's working on now and really focused on now that we're going to talk about today is AI. And I know that, I almost roll my eyes sometimes too, because let me tell you, remember when social media came out and all that we all did as mortgage loan officers, way back, was have a social media class. And we wanted all these real estate agents to come to social media classes. And yet we weren't that good at it ourselves. In fact, I don't know how many of us are still not that good at it, right? But, I was like, another social media class. And now that's what I'm seeing a lot of is, another AI class. And I've actually been exposed to AI for more than 8 years because my son is a very high level bot user for options trading in the world and stuff like that. But so I've been exposed to it for a really long time. But it really hasn't hit the market, until what? Has it been a year and a half, Michael? Maybe 2.5 years?
Probably about that. It depends who you speak to.
Yeah.
I think more mainstream probably within the last year.
Yeah, definitely in the last year. So I'm seeing a lot of this, and I do see people go, oh, AI, it's no different than when we first did it Uber, where we're going, what? Wait a minute. We push this number in, somebody comes, picks this up, right? Anything that's new is challenging for us from a, physical and emotional standpoint. So I totally get that. But I do know that I use it in my business, and I'm excited to learn, is there another way that I can learn it in my business today? I mean, I use it quite frequently. I've had it right. I'm just going to preface all this, Michael, because I want to make sure people know. I have written a full 12-year coaching course, a mastermind course. To the extent that I have it gridded out, I have all of the memes, right? Sometimes they're a little challenging. They don't have all the memes quite right yet, but all of the memes for it. And it offered me, I said, give me suggested speakers or guest speakers that I could bring in during these masterminds for these topics. And so it wrote the whole thing. It wrote all of the email campaign. It just wrote everything. It has written my next book. Of course, I'm going to go in and edit it because there's pieces of it I don't like, but it's written sort of the outline of my next book. And I've used it in that way. There's just a plethora of ways that it can be used. And I know that's what you want to talk about today. So I'm going to be quiet, and I'm just going to, just say that if you're listening to this, you need to take copious notes and plan to re-listen to this again, because this is not a flash in the pan, just like we said with, remember that Katie Couric interview that she said, so what is the World Wide Web? Remember?
Yep.
We thought it was all flash in the pan. AI is here to stay, and I've been exposed to quite a few things. I know roboting is here. I've actually met the first real robot who can speak multiple languages. She's killer. I love it. I love it. And she can have a conversation with me, which I think is unbelievable. So let's talk about AI and mortgages, because I think and how to strategically do it and not just whimsically. I think that'll be the big issue. You know, we've all done random acts of social media.
Yep.
Let's not do random acts of AI. So tell us how you got really dug into this, why you want to do this, and then start just talking to us about some things we should be doing.
So I've been in the mortgage industry 25 plus years, a very strong, heavy technology background. I used to be the CEO of a large loan origination system. I've always embraced the technology and looked at it. And part of what I've done throughout my entire career is content creation. And as I coach loan officers, as I talk to loan officers, branch managers, I think one of the biggest areas that loan officers have struggled with, especially as you talk about, we got to be on social media, we got to put ourselves out there, is content creation.
Yeah.
They struggle with, I don't know where to start. I don't have the time. I didn't get in the business to be a loan officer to now have to write marketing content and create graphics and study guides and self-help guides. So what I have found is in leaning into AI, what used to take me 3 or 4 weeks to create in content, I can do in an hour or 2.
Yeah.
And so what I have really leaned into is I've taken a number of AI courses over the last year. I've given a lot of AI courses for loan officers looking to put themselves out there. And you've got to be where your borrowers are at. They're online. They're using social media. They embrace and engage with video. Loan officers have to have a strategic way to create content. And AI is that tool. I saw a great quote the other day. AI is not going to take your job. Someone who knows how to use AI will.
Yeah.
And so for a loan officer, if you don't know how to use the tools, you've got to lean in and embrace AI tools, and you can find out how to create great content, whether it's with Chat GPT, and everyone talks about chat, but you could be using Claude, you could be using Gemini. Perplexity is a new one that I've been using a lot more frequently. So there's all of these great content AI tools, but the real magic is in learning how to prompt the tools. Best way I can describe it is if you're not familiar with using these AI tools, remember Google and you would ask Google a question. Well, this AI tools and prompts is Google on steroids. It helps you create content very quickly if you know how to prompt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I'm being coached by someone with, you know, who's an AI expert right now. And you know, the prompting is very unique and different. And I have to say, and so I want to ask you this question, because a lot of people, I know when this first came out, you know, several years ago, what we would say is you are a, you know, digital marketer, you are a ghostwriter, right? We would tell it what it was. And it's actually, I've seen the transition away from that. And I'm curious what your take is in this, because I stopped doing the prompting and I'm actually of that specific piece, and I'm actually getting better results.
So I think as the AI engines are evolving and they're getting more and more data, the prompting is still important for a couple of reasons. If you use the same basically persona for yourself, you don't always have to prompt it because it's learned gen. It knows you and how you speak. For somebody like me who creates content for dozens of companies, I have to continue to prompt the engine for what I'm trying to get, because Michael Hammond could be an expert in a loan origination system and then a default management system and then training a loan officer. So prompts are still important in my world because the AI engines that I'm using are not just using one persona. They're using multiple personas for all of the different writing I'm doing.
Okay, so for the average loan officer and the average real estate agent who's listening to this, so you're suggesting that they use the prompt of act as a, or you are a something.
Right.
And
Act
then,
as a social media content creation,
right,
LinkedIn expert, YouTube expert, Instagram expert,
right.
whatever it may be.
Yeah, until it gets to the point where it knows who you are and it can sense, this is what I'm looking for. Because I still prompt. I mean, I prompt the other things too,
Right.
I found the other thing I found is that less is more. I would try to describe everything and it got confused and it would come back and say, can you be more specific? And I thought, well, wait a minute, I just wrote a paragraph. And
Right.
it didn't
So
understand the paragraph.
that's a great point. I think people want to try to list 30 things they're an expert in. If
Yeah.
you're writing a LinkedIn post, act as a LinkedIn expert and write this post. If I'm on YouTube, if I'm on Instagram, I think the other thing that happens is some of the reasons people shy away from using AI are twofold. One, it doesn't sound like them. They say, well, it doesn't sound like me. It's not personalized. And so what I do is I teach people on how to create their own personal branding statement, and they can use AI to create it. Describe yourself. I love college football. I love spending time with my kids. I love gardening, or I love whatever it is. The more you can describe yourself and have AI create a personal branding statement.
Yeah.
And then what you want to do at least a dozen or 2 dozen times is every time you're going to create, let's say it's a post for a social media script or for social media post or for a video script, you add in that prompt using this content and drop in your personal branding statement. Now, even if Jen, you and I asked the same question, if you dropped in your personal branding statement and I dropped in mine, it's going to give us radically different answers because it's now tuning into who we are and what we're about and what we're passionate about. So
Yeah.
it doesn't come across as the same generic answer that every other LO would use.
Yeah. Okay, so I think this is an excuse, quite frankly. I think this is avoidance and an excuse.
Agreed.
Yeah, and here's what I'm going to tell you. I haven't told you what it is yet. This is an excuse. When I'm coaching loan officers, this is one of the things that they say all the time. It's like, I don't have the content, which, honest to God, it's the easiest thing to create content. But
Yep.
that's the first thing. And we'll talk about that too. But I think this is an excuse because so many people that come to me that I'm coaching, I say, okay, let me look at your social media. And you know what they're doing? They're letting their companies put out social media for them. And it's the same for every freaking loan officer in the company. And yet
So
at the same time,
frustrating.
right? And so that's not you. That's not doesn't sound like you. And yet you'll let that happen, but you're apprehensive about starting with Chat GPT, even if you don't have your personal branding statement, right? To do something that's different and unique other than the other, 100 loan officers that are at your company. Sorry, everybody listening, but yeah,
Well,
come
and
on.
I agree. People use it as an excuse. It doesn't sound like me. Or the other excuse I hear quite often now is, I can tell that was written by chat, right? There's truth to that. I can read something and you can read something. A lot of it is you have to know how to prompt and use the tool.
Yeah.
And so what they'll always complain is, well, I don't ever use the word 12. Okay.
Well,
I
then
have a
change it
simple
before you print
prompt.
it.
I have a simple prompt that I can coach chat or any of the other tools that says you're not allowed to use these words. Speak in simple English. Don't use the. I put that in every time and I don't have all those words. So to your point, quit using the excuse of, well, it doesn't sound like me, or it's not personal, or I can tell it's an AI engine. Those are simple workarounds if you get into the tools and start using those. But for the loan officers that have, I've seen significant growth because we all know you have to start putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
It's a highly competitive market. If you want to really grow as a thought leader, if you really want to grow as an expert, a subject matter expert in 203K loans or VA loans or whatever your expertise is, you've got to start putting yourself out there. You've got to be out there on social. You got to do videos. And one of the best ways and the simplest ways to create it is using AI to help you get that done.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. And I think that, The importance here is acceptance, right? There's awareness. There's a lot of studies that have done about, how you get yourself to market, but you have awareness right now, and now it's the action and the implementation, inside of learning at the same time, what happens. The other part is if you have a social media chat, a social media post that's been created and the word dwell is in it, all you have to do is change it. Right?
Drive,
All you have
put
to
in
do
a
is
different
change
word.
it.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, yeah. And my first book that I wrote, Launch, How to Take Your Business to New Heights, I wrote it I think maybe 8 years ago, something like that, five, six. I don't know. My mom passed away when I was writing it. So you'd think I'd know this. But when I did it, I had a ghostwriter help me get the basics there, because I know me. Once upon a time, no. Once there was a kingdom. No. It's going to take me forever to write it, right? And he used the word petered out. And I went, no, that doesn't sound like me. I would never use that word, ever use that word, right? So it happens in the human connection just as much as it does in the chat connection. So if you're not writing your content, so if your company's writing your content, chat's writing your content, somebody else is writing your content, you're always going to experience that doesn't sound like me. And you
I
always
love that.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me the other day, well, do you think people should be using AI for content? And I'm like, CEOs and executives have had ghostwriters for decades.
Right. Right.
Now we're using technology to do it instead of as many ghostwriters. It's the same thing. The person has to review it. They're going to edit it. They want to make it sound like themselves, just like you said. I don't use that phrase, so I take it out.
Yeah.
But that hasn't changed at all. There's always been ghostwriters. There's always been people creating content. Now AI can do it, and you don't have to spend as much money, and you can go to market much quicker because you're out there using those tools.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk about, and then we'll get back, and then we're going to get back to actual content. But so what is your take on, creating images, and what is your experience with creating video?
So let's start with video first, and then I'll come back to the images, because I think with video, again, loan officers didn't get into the business to be a video editor. They didn't know how to create captions and logos and all of those things. So there's a lot of great video tools out there. I use a tool called Riverside FM. There's Opus Clips. There's Zoom. There's all kinds of tools now that people can use.
Yeah, there's captions. That's another one.
Exactly. Captions, Decipher. There's a lot of tools out there. The reason I use Riverside FM when I started recording podcasts and then COVID hit, I wanted good recordings, and you didn't have to have great bandwidth, and you could get a great recording. But where the tools are so powerful now for the loan officer is you can click a button, it will create micro clips for you. You can click another button and it will add your logo. You can click a button and it will add captions. So again, what used to take hours, if not days and weeks, to edit and fine tune the videos, you can now use your phone to create great video. If you want to drop it into one of those tools that we just mentioned and add captions and add a logo, it takes less than 5 minutes. And now I have high quality video. Don't worry about being perfect video. I think too many people want it to look like a perfect commercial, and it's a little unbelievable.
Well, and that perfection prevents profit.
It certainly does.
Right.
So I think video, you have to put yourself out there. That's what people are consuming. You can do it very easily. Use your phone. You don't need all kinds of fancy equipment. Get a light. You can spend 30 to 80 bucks on a ring light or any other kind of lighting and have decent sound.
Yeah.
You have those two things. It's a matter of just putting yourself out there, and don't let perfection paralyze you. Just go out there and start sharing and putting content out there in a video form. And people always say, well, what should I talk about? Well, you can use all the AI tools, but think about what are the last 5 or 10 questions that your borrowers have asked you.
Best content. That's the best content. You are asked those questions every day.
Yes. Use that knowledge and expertise.
Right. Carve out the time every single day, either in the morning and the night, right? Where you go into chat or any other mechanism that you want to use, but you go into AI and you say, create a video content, a 1-minute video, a 30-second video on this content, now create it in LinkedIn, now create it, so you can have it created in every place that you're posting, just from all those questions you get asked every single day.
Exactly. And the same thing with your interactions with realtors. What are the questions they're asking? What are the things that they're looking for? And put those videos on there. If you're looking to grow your purchase business and foster better relationships with the realtors, provide informational value to them. And you can quickly do that through video.
Yeah, I wanted to mention also there's an app called Teleprompter, which I think is one of the best out there.
Yep.
Where you can hold your phone, you can copy and paste, upload if you want to upload the whatever AI creates for you, upload the words, and then hold your camera, right? And make sure you use whatever you're going to use. Just hold your camera. I don't care. Just hold your camera and talk into it. And the teleprompter will go through there so that you can say exactly what AI said. And so you don't have to worry about, okay, memorizing it and I don't know what to do and this, that, and the other. And you can re-record it 20 times if that's what you need to do. But, speak like a human. I think
Exactly. And quit
teleprompters.
making it harder than it is. Just
Yeah.
start putting yourself out there. It's okay if you said once. It's okay if it's not perfect. Like you said, if you want to redo them, you can. But I think when people start putting themselves out there, it comes across as more genuine, more authentic than
Yeah.
something so
Or-
polished that it becomes a little unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. Before we go back to images, I want to talk about one other thing with videos. A lot of people, have stopped going live. I just don't see as many people going live anymore. I know for myself, I only go live if I'm able to record it on my Zoom. I don't do it. I do not do it on my computer or my phone anymore the way I used to. And that's because if anything were to happen to any of my platforms, they have all of my content. So what we've done is we've moved over to everything being published in YouTube, and some are public and some are unpublished, right? It just depends on how we want to do it. But what do you feel about loan officers establishing a YouTube channel as the main source of pushing everything out the other way? And I know we can't do it to LinkedIn and that kind of thing, but if we have it stored there.
I completely agree with that. I coach loan officers all the time. Use YouTube as your video depository. That's where all of your videos will reside. Even if you're not always building up your YouTube channel, because there's certain times where I'm really doing this video for LinkedIn.
Yes.
That's where I'm trying to drive traffic. Well,
unpublished. Yeah.
Yeah, I can still have that store all of my videos. You don't want to try storing all of your videos on your desktop, your laptop, your phone.
God.
It's going to take up way too much memory.
Yeah.
And people are searching. YouTube is one of the most searched properties on the internet. So start putting them out there. People can then look at all of your past shows. It's going to build up a lot more credibility. So I couldn't agree more. Use YouTube as your main repository to host all of your videos. And there's a lot of times where even with my podcast and video cast, I'll put it on YouTube and then I'll take micro clips and put that on LinkedIn, or I'll do a link. And some people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't do a link. LinkedIn doesn't like that. Well, it depends what my goals are for why I'm publishing that and why I'm driving people to some of those other sites. So I agree completely. Store them all on YouTube. And then you can put those on the different platforms and cut them up different ways that they meet, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, whether it is Instagram. Use the tools appropriately so that you can store those on YouTube and then really get them out to your audiences.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So let's go back to the images. What is your, it's funny because I just changed my entire presentation. I mean, sans pictures of me and my family, because I talk about, a little bit about myself. But sans pictures of me and my family. Every one of my graphics have been updated, and I've done them through AI, but I've done it because I want to share with people about having an edge in the market, right? In having an edge in the market. That means that I have to do the same thing, right? So created a ton of beautiful images. Tell us what your thoughts are on that.
Couple thoughts. I think one of the first things that people struggle with is they're like, again, a loan officer, I'm not a graphic designer.
Yeah.
I don't know how to create all these things. And people say, well, then try Canva. And I've been in marketing 25 plus years, and I don't think Canva is that intuitive.
No.
Doesn't mean it can't work for you, but
Yeah.
what I find is first start with just creating simple social media graphics, because while video is very important and impactful, when you mix in some of the social graphics, first time home buyer's guide, and it's got a catchy graphic. I use a tool called addcreative.ai. And the reason I use that tool is it's AI driven. You buy basically credits and it will create hundreds of images for you, and you only pay for the ones that you download.
So it sounds like
So,
deposit photos, right? Deposit photos is kind of like that, but I don't think
yep.
they stepped into, I think they've got a little AI in there, but not a lot. Yeah.
So Add Creative AI will then, once you render it, so you can create the backdrop image, so you can drop in happy home buyers getting their keys, or, for sale signs, or you can put in yourself. It will store your logo, so it will create your own personal brand. And then what it does, and this is a mistake a lot of people make with graphics, especially social graphics, is they try to say way too many things. What Add Creative AI does is it will only allow you so many characters and only a couple of lines to put it. And then it runs it through its AI engine. It will say, this is 99% out of 100, what you're trying to accomplish for AI,
yeah.
for a first-time home buyer's guide, for a VA guide, whatever it may be. So now you're keeping your characters, and it really makes you think, oh, I only get this many characters. I have to really be on point with what I'm saying. And then it will render hundreds of images with different looks, feels, and everything. And then you're like, hey, I like that fourth one. I only download that, and it takes a couple credits to download that. It will give you all of the sizes, because that's another area people struggle with images.
With the different platforms. Yeah.
Correct. So am I putting it on Instagram? Am I putting it on Facebook? Am I putting it on
Banner.
TikTok?
Is it a banner as opposed
So you can create a banner. You don't have to.
Yeah.
A quick tip I have found for those of you that are really struggling with, well, I want to use it on multiple platforms. What should I use? 1080 by 1080 will work on most of the platforms. So if you save it in a 1080 by 1080 image, it will work on LinkedIn. It will work on Instagram. So don't get so bogged down with, I've got to create 50 different types. Use a tool like that, click the different images that you're using. It will give you the size, and now you have very professional looking social graphics that enhance your personal brand, enhance your story of what you're trying to tell out there as a loan officer, the areas of expertise that you're in. And when you sprinkle those in with doing video, it really brings a lot more of your whole personal brand and story to life.
Yeah, I love this. We talked about, we were talking about doing this strategically. What have you found is the best? I mean, there are some people that I turn them off because I'm just sick of seeing everything, right? It's like too much. So what is the perfect combination that you have found in the mortgage and real estate space?
So I don't know if there's a magic button and a perfect sequence that works for everybody. Everyone says create a content calendar. What I have done that I have found that works very well for me is, I know every Monday I do what's called a Monday morning fuel up. So that's a video. So I know throughout the week, I'm thinking, what am I going to put in that Monday morning fuel up? Tuesday is more of thought leadership, industry points, what's going on in the marketplace. Wednesday, I launch my podcast, which is FinTech Hunting. So I know I need content for that. I need guests for that. Thursday is, again, more industry related. I'll do a shout out or something. And then Friday, I usually do a motivational quote.
Yeah.
When I give that as a reference, I'm not telling people to follow it exactly. Some people say, well, I don't like motivational quotes. I'm like, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
If you know every Friday, this is what you do, then it's a lot easier to create content for that every Friday. And consistency, in my opinion, wins the day on social media and outreach. So create a rhythm or a flow for, okay, Monday morning fuel ups. Okay, Wednesday podcast. Okay, Friday motivational quote. If you get into that kind of flow, then I find it's much easier to consistently create content, because I'm very compartmentalized with, this is what I need for Mondays. This is what I need for Tuesdays. This is what I need for Wednesdays. Frequency wise, I think somewhat you have to earn the right. If you're posting 20 things a day, nobody wants to see all 20 things.
Right.
Probably 1 or 2 posts a day are perfectly fine if you get into a good balance. And when I say earn the right, you can't tag everybody and just try to tag every influencer in the market and think,
Yeah.
oh, that's how I'm going to get, they're going to unfollow you. But as you start putting content, certain people are going to keep following you and they're going to start adding comments. You got to comment back and tag them. And that's how you start building up a frequency. I would say at least 1 time a day, 5 to 6 days a week is where you probably want to find at least that sweet spot to get going. And then if you've earned the right and you have a bigger following, you might do it a little bit more frequently.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. I love that. I want to share one that I use too, just in case. So I use something called Stay, STAY. And the reason why I do it that way, STAY, it's 4 days, right? So that people don't go, oh, it's every Monday and they're doing the same thing and they're doing the same thing every Tuesday, right?
Okay.
I get it when you do Monday, like I do Money Making Monday, right? So when or Motivational Monday, you can do all kinds of, or Just Ask Tuesdays or Testimonial Tuesdays.
Right.
And those are, and I love doing that too, because I'm acutely aware. It's like, oh, it's Tuesday. I know what I'm doing today, right? I know what I'm doing. STAY stands for sell, teach, right? Sell, teach, advise, and then you. Sell, teach, advise, you. And so it's one of the things that I found is that, if we're doing a lot of motivational quotes and they think we're a motivational speaker, if we do a lot of education, they think, oh, well, they're a teacher, and I had a situation years ago. I have to tell a story. I had a situation years ago. When I was in lending, I did classes almost every day of the week. I had a class that I was teaching, right? And
Yep.
I would always say to everybody, why are you here? Hey, why'd you come to this class? What do you want to learn from this class and stuff? And someone said to me, well, I just come to everything you do because I love coming to everything you do. And I said, well, thank you. But I just want to remind everybody, I actually do loans for a living.
Right.
You
You make an excellent point that you can get so caught up in just putting the content that people are like, oh, I didn't know you could help me with marketing. I didn't know you could help me with the strategy to grow my business. So that's an excellent point.
Yeah, it is. And so that's why I have the sell part in there and by the way, this came from jab, 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 punch, right? The book, jab, 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 punch.
Yep.
It's like a little of this, a little of that. Oh, this, me cooking, playing with your kids, whatever it is. And then the punch is, oh, by the way, I'm a lender.
Exactly.
By the way, I do these loans. So I use Stay, but you could, I'm just throwing out other ideas for everybody. I love the weekly themes, the daily themes. I do that as well. But I wanted to just share this part of it too. And the teach part is really good because that's where the questions come in.
Correct.
Yep. The education part. So I wanted to share that as well. So listen, you've got a lot of ideas here from both of us in ways that you can put this into action. So there can't be any more excuses. There just can't.
Couldn't agree more.
There just can't be. Okay, so that's one strategy. Now, for loan officers that are listening and real estate agents, and I don't know, do you coach real estate agents too, or just loan officers?
I do some real estate agents, but a lot more on the loan officer
side. Yeah. I know, I used to dabble in realtors and it was like, it's kind of weird. They're weird, but I love you realtors. I love you listening because you know what? You can learn all this stuff too. I'm just saying from a coaching perspective, I don't coach realtors anymore. So what can loan officers be doing to share this, not only with the realtors that they're working with, but also their other partners? Because, if you've ever listened to this podcast, I'm talking to everybody who's listening, that I only worked with 4 realtors and still did $100 million a year. I had sprinklers and peppering in of real estate agents, but mostly I work with financial advisors. So for those loan officers that are working with others, what changes, if any, would need to be made in guiding and advising their other referral partners, whether it's an insurance agent, a title company, whatever the person may be?
So I think a lot of the strategies and the methods are similar, but you have to define your target audiences and know what resonates with them. How you speak to a builder is going to be different than how you're speaking to a financial planner versus a divorce attorney versus a realtor. So I think if you know your target audiences and are focused on adding value to them, then you can use all of the methods we talked about. You can use AI to create a lot of that, but you have to feed the engines and say, I'm working with financial planners. I'm working with builders. And the messaging is what changes. The methodology of how to accomplish that, I don't think changes much at all.
Yeah. It was oh my gosh, Brian Buffini, always said is the principles never change, but the tactics do. And that's what we're talking about here, right? Is so the principles still stay intact. But the reason I'm bringing this up is I want to make sure that those who are listening are just saying, okay, I'm just going to use this to go after first-time home buyers or clients or realtors. But the whole world is your oyster, right?
Exactly. So you can use those strategies for whatever audiences you're trying to relate to. One thing I will say, though, is too many times people want to relate to everybody in one message, and it becomes across as very generic, and it doesn't really resonate with anybody. So it's okay to segment your audiences and speak directly to them, and you can have more than one audience.
Yeah. And I think that's a really, really key point because, even in my practice, right, I mentor loan officers and I mentor high-end executives, CEO executives, right? And so there's always this fear of, well, how do I talk to one and not the other and still do the same post? Do I need 50 different profiles on, all these websites and these platforms, is that, that it's okay to say that. It's okay to say, and do you think it's important that you say, attention realtors?
No, then it comes across as almost too scripted.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there's ways to
information.
People like that phrase goes, show me that you're this without telling me. And so I think there's ways that you can describe the activity, how you've worked with other realtors, and it can be much more subtle than hello realtors, hello builders. I don't think it has to be that outwardly to really gain traction.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. So listen, this has been fantastic talking to you. I could talk to you forever. And I know that you have to get going. You have another appointment. So how do people get in touch with you if they want to utilize your services?
They can contact me on LinkedIn, Michael Hammond on LinkedIn. They can email me, mhammond, HAMMOND at NexLevelAdvisors.com. There's no T in it, so it's NEXLEVEL.com. I'm available. Find me online, DM me. I would love to connect with you and help any way that I can.
And don't forget to mention that you heard about Michael on Mortgage Lending Mastery.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to do that.
I will continue to spread the good word. You do an incredible job, and I'm so excited and thankful for the opportunity to be on your podcast.
My pleasure. Okay, so we're going to leave with this: a quote, a mantra, a thought.
Quote or mantra or thought, I would say for those of you out there in today's tough market, you want to get better at leading, take a leadership position at a volunteer organization if you really want to grow your leadership and improve your leadership skills. These people don't have to listen to you. They don't have to buy into what you're saying. And if you ever want to accomplish something, you're going to have to learn to work with all types of people. And that is a great way to accomplish that.
I love that. What a great segue. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us today. And everybody, thank you so much for listening in. We sure appreciate it. And we will catch you next time on Mortgage Lending Mastery.
Thanks for listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Be sure to subscribe to hear more sales tips, ideas, strategies, and tactics to help you with your personal and professional growth to multiply your results in record time. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to give us a rating and review so we can continue to bring you the best content possible. Wanting more beyond the podcast? Join our Mortgage Lending Mastery membership community, where you will find extended interviews with our favorite guests, weekly training, tips, and insider secrets, fireside chats with Jen, free content, meet, share, and collaborate with other members, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more about this exclusive content. Mortgage Lending Mastery is an Industry Syndicate charter podcast. Industry Syndicate is the first podcast network specifically for the mortgage and real estate industries. Get the Industry Syndicate app in the App Store or Google Play today.